fortune hunters, thankfully, Kate said pointedly. The portly but kind-hearted aspirant to Fanny's hand was sweating profusely as he tried to navigate his way through the crowd holding 2 drinks. His plump figure made him look all at once older and younger than his 33 years. "No," Fanny said. "Walmsley is decidedly not a fortune hunter. He is more likely to be hunted for his own fortune, you know. But I'm not at all sure if I shall accept his offer." Fanny bit her lip as she tracked his movement toward them. She turned to Kate with a conscience-stricken expression. "The truth is, I have so much enjoyed being widowed." Kate's eyes lit up with laughter, and Fanny rushed on. "I know it is an awful thing to say, but I married so young. I never had a real season. Naturally, Lord Hammond was very good to me," she added quickly, "and I had no reason to complain of treatment at his hands, but he preferred spending most of the year in the country." She said the last word with a touch of revulsion, and then looked around the room with an air of melancholy. "London is my home, and I'm not sure that I'm ready to give this life up all over again." Kate could readily believe that Fanny would be loath to abandon her current lifestyle. Her schedule consisted of one social engagement after another, and her wealth and widowhood made her an object of gallantry. Mr. Walmsley came before them, handing one drink to Fanny and the other to Kate. "Too many people here, I tell you." The skin under his chin trembled as he shook his head. "I could barely get my hands on these drinks, was nearly obliged to call a fellow out. The jackanapes tried to cut in front of me for these last 2. "Oh dear," breathed Kate. She lowered her head and turned it to the side, hunching her shoulders and hoping to avoid the attention of the gentlemen heading in their direction. "Not to worry, Miss Matcham," Walmsley reassured her in ignorant bliss. "I didn't actually call him out, only tempted me for a moment. I'm afraid my dueling days are long past. My circumference, you see, provides much too wide a target for my taste." He looked down at his belly and rubbed it with fondness. "No, not that," Kate hissed, biting her lip to keep from laughing at Mr. Walmsley's words. But it was too late. She had been recognized. She straightened hastily in her chair, pretending that she had been picking something up, and contrived to smile at the man approaching them. Sir Lewis Gording stopped and bowed. His thin lips were stretched in a smile, though the lines above them betrayed the slight contempt they most often wore. Had Kate been standing, she would have come eye to eye with Sir Lewis. Despite their matched height, he always managed to make her feel as though he was looking down upon her. Unlike so many of the young women who tolerated his aggressive flirting to placate their hopeful mothers, Kate had always found his company uncomfortable and paid him only the attention that civility required. Unfortunately for her, Sir Lewis seemed to find her company more desirable as a result. He was impervious to her subtle snubs. "Good evening, your ladyship. Walmsley." He bowed and turned toward Kate. "Miss Matcham, might I have the pleasure of the next dance?" She groaned inside, but maintained the same contrived smile of civility. Out of politeness and the desire to be a credit to Fanny, she would not refuse him, but the feeling of obligation chafed her. "Of course," she replied, with a bow of her head. Helping her up from her seat and tucking her hand into his arm, Sir Lewis led her away from Fanny and Mr. Walmsley. Kate turned her head back toward Fanny with a look of helplessness. Fanny smiled at her and bobbed her head up and down in encouragement, failing to recognize the distress signal. "I've changed my mind," Sir Lewis said, and Kate whipped her head back around, afraid he had witnessed her attempted call for help. "Let us instead take a turn about the room." Before she could respond, he had guided her away from the dance floor. They passed through 2 groups of chatting women, the sound of organdy muslin and silk skirts brushing against one another. Kate envied the merry voices of the women they passed. If only she could disappear into one of their circles. Instead, she was being guided firmly toward the brocade-draped windows lining the room. Sir Lewis was clearly used to being in control. It was part of what she so disliked in him. "As you please, sir," she said, clenching her teeth behind her smile. She felt his eyes studying her. "You are the picture of perfection this evening, if I may say so," he said. His eyes moved from her head down to her slippers. Where other ladies might blush at such a high compliment, or at least at his unabashed scrutiny, Kate's nostrils